Today in history, at 7 May 1915, a German submarine fired a single torpedo at the RMS Lusitania off the southern coast of Ireland. The ship sank in 18 minutes. Of the 1,959 people on board, 1,198 died, including 128 Americans. The sinking transformed the war's moral landscape, shaped American public opinion, and set in motion a chain of diplomatic events that would eventually bring the United States into the conflict 2 years later. The Lusitania was a Cunard ocean liner launched in 1907 and at the time of her sinking, one of the largest and fastest ships in the world. She held the blue riband for the fastest Atlantic crossing. In peacetime, she was a passenger ship. In war, she was something more complicated. She was registered as an armed merchant cruiser with the British Admiralty, was listed in British naval records as capable of being armed, and was carrying, among her cargo, rifle ammunition and shrapnel shells. Germany had declared the waters around Britain a war zone and had published warnings in American newspapers on the morning the Lusitania sailed from New York. Captain William Turner commanded the Lusitania on her final voyage. He had received Admiralty advisories warning of U-boat activity in the Irish Sea. The instructions to steer a zigzag course, avoid headlands, and travel at full speed were not consistently followed. On the afternoon of May 7th, the ship was traveling at reduced speed in clear weather off the old head of Kinsale. U-20, commanded by Captain Lieutenant Walter Schweiger, had been operating in the area for several days. At 2:10 in the afternoon, Schweiger fired one torpedo. The initial explosion was followed almost immediately by a second, larger explosion. The source of the second explosion has been debated for over a century. Some historians point to the munitions in the cargo hold, others to coal dust or steam in the boiler room. Whatever caused it, the second explosion accelerated the sinking dramatically. The ship listed immediately and severely to starboard, making it nearly impossible to lower lifeboats on the port side. The ship was gone in 18 minutes, too fast for an orderly evacuation. The death toll fell hardest on those who could not save themselves. Many of the victims drowned waiting for lifeboats that couldn't be deployed. The cold water killed quickly. A disproportionate number of children died because the ship sank so fast. The bodies and survivors were brought ashore at Queenstown, now Cobb, in southern Ireland. The scenes were chaotic and harrowing. Among the dead were British writer Elbert Hubbard, American millionaire Alfred Vanderbilt, and the theatrical producer Charles Frohman. American outrage was immediate and substantial. The Wilson administration sent 3 successive notes of protest to Berlin. Germany responded by claiming the Lusitania had been carrying munitions and was therefore a legitimate military target. The argument was legally defensible. Politically, it was catastrophic. The sinking had killed civilians, women and children, and the sight of a passenger liner going down in 18 minutes was not something that abstract arguments about contraband could easily neutralize. Germany, facing the prospect of American entry into the war, eventually issued the Arabic Pledge in August 1915 and the Sussex Pledge in May 1916, promising not to sink passenger ships without warning. The pledges bought Germany time and kept America neutral for 2 more years. But the Lusitania remained in American memory, cited by newspapers, by politicians, and by the public, as evidence of German recklessness with civilian life. When Germany announced the resumption of unrestricted submarine warfare in February 1917, the accumulated weight of incidents like the Lusitania made the American political response much sharper. The British inquiry into the sinking, conducted by Lord Mersey in 1915, blamed the German U-boat and largely exonerated the Admiralty and Captain Turner. Subsequent investigations have been less generous. Evidence emerged that First Lord of the Admiralty Winston Churchill had been aware of U-20's position in the Irish Sea and had not routed the Lusitania around the danger. Questions about whether the Admiralty had deliberately allowed the sinking to occur to provoke American outrage have circulated for decades without definitive resolution. The Lusitania itself was not raised. She rests in 93 meters of water off the old head of Kinsale, her hull slowly collapsing, her cargo still intact. In 1982, a wreck survey found that the bow contained what appeared to be 4 million Remington 303 rifle rounds. The debate over what else she was carrying has never entirely closed. The sinking of the Lusitania is remembered now as a moment when a war fought by soldiers became visible to civilians in a new way. The ocean liner was not a warship. The people on board had bought tickets. They were traveling, not fighting. Their deaths crossed a line that had previously been theoretical, and in doing so made the war's nature legible to a mass public in a way that trench casualty figures, too large to comprehend, had not.